Documentary investigating the Sussexes titled Where Did the Money Go? Here's a clip.
The Duke and Duchess of Sussex were once the darlings of the nation.
They were this fabulous royal family, completely valuable to the UK and beyond.
The Duke and Duchess of Sussex!
From hero to headline, is Prince Harry's Proudest project cracking under the pressure? The question burst through the jubilant roar of 14,000 spectators at the Vancouver Whistler closing ceremony, where confetti still drifts like alpine snow. For a decade, Invictus embodied hope. Yet tonight, veterans whisper about vanished millions, sponsors call their lawyers, and a rumor spreads that the game's own CEO has begged Harry, come alone in 2026, leave the Duchess at home. The contradiction is stark, the stakes even starker, and over the next few minutes we're diving fast into 8 turning points that could make or break the prince's last unquestioned legacy.
Well, it was a Channel 5 investigation as to the state of the Sussexes' finances. Now, we know they didn't move to a 2-bedroom cottage somewhere in the middle of nowhere. They're living in quite a large mansion in Montecito.
The Invictus story began in the heat shimmer of Camp Bastion, Afghanistan, 2008. Captain Wales flew medevac sorties by day and talked recovery with wounded Marines by night. Those conversations scarred deeper than Taliban shrapnel. 6 years later, Harry fused that frontline grit with the US Warrior Games playbook, launching Invictus 2014 in London. What started as a single-city experiment exploded into a globe-trotting franchise. Orlando 2016, Sydney 2018, Dusseldorf 2023, each larger, slicker, and more televised than the last. Harry ran the track with amputees, fist-bumped wheelchair rugby champs, and, for a moment, silenced even the tabloid beasts. The brand felt bulletproof because it was built on something tougher than royalty. Shared sacrifice, but hard metals attract a harder spotlight. The Vancouver Whistler edition was Invictus turned IMAX, first hybrid winter-summer roster, Coldplay singing in snow flurries, a $63 million public-private budget hailed as textbook transparency by Canadian auditors.
And one of the things that Prince Harry made very public when he left the royal family, one of the things that he was quite disgruntled about was the fact that his father basically cut him off financially. So really they were in a state where they had to make a lot of money.
Coverage zoomed on Harry trading dad jokes with Justin Trudeau in the sled dog pit lane, while Meghan's après-ski jacket trended on every fashion feed. The world clapped, then scrolled, and somewhere in that scroll the focus slipped from athletes to accessories. When celebrity eclipses service, legacy hairline fractures widen. They widened fast. A cluster of YouTube channels with names like Royal Scoop 22 uploaded breathless clips claiming up to £30 million missing from Invictus coffers and hinting at looming lawsuits against the prince himself. Screenshots of unaudited spreadsheets raced across X, formerly Twitter, before fact-checkers could load their login pages. Hashtags Where is the Money Harry and Sussex scandal briefly outtrended Premier League scores. 0 sworn affidavits surfaced. Still, suspicion sticks quicker than proof, especially when silence answers the first wave of questions.
He blundered in a video and said, the Netflix deal was an idea that was pitched to him and he had to basically pay for his family's security, which I'm sure if you're giving the Sussexes $100 million.
Official paperwork tells a calmer tale. The Invictus Games Foundation's 2023 audited report, 47 pages of accountant-grade detail, lists unrestricted reserves, restricted grants, and an unqualified clean opinion from PricewaterhouseCoopers. No gaping hole, no forensic red flags. Yet 2 truths can coexist. Books can balance while stakeholders fret, because perception drives patronage. And perception, right now, is spiraling.
$1 deal, you're not happy to hear that the people only took it just so they could pay for lifelong security. But they were in a state where they had to make money and they had to make money fast. It also explored the state of their finances.
Enter Scott Moore, broadcast exec turned Invictus CEO. In public, he praises Harry's vision. In private, according to viral leaks, he warned that the 2026 games in Newcastle risk morphing into Sussex Palooza if Meghan appears. A New York Post roundup of Moore's earlier comments about a dress protocol, ma'am and sir are fine, fanned speculation that relations were already testy. No official memo has surfaced, but Invictus never bothered with whispers before. The very existence of the rumor signals a trust deficit. Sponsors notice rumors first. Insiders at 3 multinational brands, one athletic wear giant, one defense contractor, one streaming service, hint they've paused preliminary talks pending clarity on governance. Their finance teams view charity events like any equity. Volatility equals risk. When the risk includes a potential parliamentary inquiry, boards cut and run. Veteran backlash, though, stings deepest. Former Army medic Tom Keane, double amputee rower in 2018, wrote an open letter headlined, "We fought for each other, not PR."
Meghan Markle's estimated net worth from her work from Suits and her lifestyle brand was about £5 million. And we know that Prince Harry was left inheritance by his late mother, Princess Diana, as well as the Queen Mother.
From back in the days, we stand, look at Cameron, you're stirring something. I didn't necessarily want to do that. And I didn't want a reality show. And so the only way to feel as though you were still in conversation with me, I felt, was I had to be talking to the people in the room with me.
He praises the prince who once shot hoops with him in the rehab gym, then blasts the current version who lets spreadsheets cast shadows over prosthetic blades. His post racked up 50,000 shares in 24 hours. Some veterans have drafted a petition asking Invictus trustees to appoint an alternate royal, or no royal at all, as patron if financial clarity stalls. The movement remains small, but every signature chips at Harry's once untouchable bond with the forces community. That bond now faces Westminster scrutiny. Defense Committee MPs trade whispers about commissioning the National Audit Office to perform a deep dive on any UK-linked grants routed through Invictus. No motion yet, but history shows inquiries gather steam quickly once cross-party headlines appear. Across the Atlantic, Canadian officials who greenlit Vancouver funding review surplus calculations weekly to ensure no tax dollars evaporate under press glare. One aide quipped, "If we funded bobsleighs, we'd better see bobsleighs, not podcasts." All the while, the prince keeps radio silence. Crisis management gurus warn that every empty day multiplies narrative trajectories. Option A, commission an independent audit, host an on-camera Q&A, and disarm rumor with spreadsheets. Option B, let tabloids set the tempo, respond only via solicitors' letters, and risk that first subpoena landing in the mailbox of Archwell HQ. Royal biographer Valentine Lowe notes that Harry excels at boots-on-ground empathy, but recoils from bureaucratic trench warfare. That instinct served soldier Harry well. It could sink executive Harry now.
Estimates around sort of between 20 and 30 million pounds. But we know that they have quite an expensive mortgage on their house. Their security is quite a hefty sum as well. Annually, we know that Prince Harry doesn't really go to many places without a 4-car convoy. So it's just kind of exploring what's next, how dire their finances is. I'm sure they have a lot of smart investments that is probably paying for a lot of their daily upkeep. And I don't think that financially they're going to be in much trouble.
Layered atop the maths is the Meghan effect. Her Netflix savvy and lifestyle brand ambition are marketing gold, yet some Invictus insiders fear they shift coverage from medals to monograms. In Dusseldorf, she drew more camera pan time than the gold medal wheelchair rugby final. In Vancouver, her surprise reading of a children's storybook made Instagram headlines while snowboard finals aired on muted stadium screens. Moore's alleged plea: no distractions, no duchesses, channels of view gaining traction. Invictus sells inspiration best when it tells group stories, not couple stories. So where, realistically, could £9.1 million or £30 million, depending on which tweet you trust, have gone? Charity law experts remind us that multi-city events park money in staggered budgets. Venue deposits here, adaptive equipment orders there, athlete travel bursaries held until visas clear. Paper cash turns into wheelchairs, ski blades, and invoices spread across jurisdictions. All perfectly legitimate, until fragmented paperwork meets hungry clickbait. In short, missing may simply mean not fully explained in a single screenshot. Yet until Invictus publishes a plain English ledger, speculation will outrun nuance. The paradox: the louder the scandal chat, the more valuable Invictus becomes, to grifters, pundits, and yes, to Harry's critics. Every unverified number becomes a headline magnet. Every silence, a fresh suspicion. That feedback loop threatens the very athletes Invictus was built to champion. Grants freeze, sponsors stall, and suddenly training camps lack funding for prosthetic maintenance. Scandal fatigue trickles down to wheelchair basketball rims that never get shipped. If resolution arrives, it must arrive in daylight. A televised board meeting, an independent forensic audit published online, an apology if warranted, a clarification if not. Veterans deserve receipts, not rumors. Donors deserve certainty. And Prince Harry deserves a legacy defined by recovery, not recrimination. So, we circle back to the roar of that Vancouver arena and the cheers that masked a fracture line. Invictus was forged in war zones and hospital wards. It can survive tabloids and tweet storms if its founder chooses radical transparency over reactive PR. Because metals cast long shadows, but truth casts longer light. Where does that leave you, the viewer? Tell us in the comments. Will heightened scrutiny strengthen Invictus by forcing reforms, or doom it beneath scandal's weight? And keep an eye on the 2027 Birmingham bid. A wildcard Mediterranean city is ready to swoop if corporate partners bolt. The next chapter of this story may write itself sooner than anyone expects. Stay tuned and stay curious. Because when royalty collides with accountability, the real battle has only just begun.